You cannot afford to miss a single moment of the next hour. Get ready to have your ideas about sexuality, love, and relationships blown wide open. It's time to get educated, entertained, and enlightened, as well as sexually empowered. You have now tuned into the Tantra Love, Sex, and Intimacy Show. Now, here's your host, Tanya Diamond.
And here we are on a beautiful Thursday in Seattle.
Good afternoon.
That's Joshua, of course. And we're really excited because though we love Billy beyond loving Billy, Gary's hanging out with us today.
Nice to see you again, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
I am back, only for today and next Thursday.
Only for a couple days.
Just filling in for Billy.
We'll take what we can get of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gives it to us free.
The hosts want Billy.
That's an excellent
Right.
thing. Well, okay, so what's going on except for I'm, I don't know, I've had like...
You are a tired woman, and I commend you for still being in your arousal as you talk about still being a tired woman.
Wow. Yes. I think I've had like 4.5 hours sleep in the last 3 days.
What, have you been writing a book or something?
Yes, I'm done.
How is that book looking?
It's pretty amazing. The team has it right now as they're doing all the reviews. Have you read?
I've been enjoying reading it. I've sent you a few of my testimonials.
That's
what do you mean have I been
true.
reading it?
Yes, excellent. Yes, so this is the ABCs of Tantric Living, headed to the publisher next week, out in a couple of months at the most.
Sweet.
So this is really pretty exciting. I realize I've written tons of ebooks.
Right.
But I've never written the book.
The book.
The book.
Dun, dun, dun.
I had to say, does this book make my butt look big?
We had that discussion.
That's right.
I think last week.
I know, a few weeks ago. But yeah, I don't think it does anymore. I'm actually very, very excited about it. And it's just getting some book endorsements. I actually just contacted Eckhart Tolle.
Nice.
And asked him if he would endorse my book.
All right. Way to go.
What the hell? The Dalai Lama.
I love that. I love I'm right with you with the ambition. And, and just as a note, I was walking behind you up the steps here, and I couldn't even think about the book. So we're good.
Thank you very much. Yes. We are having a great time with all the stuff we're doing. And I'm happy to have it done. Of course, the finishing touch is all happening now. And things like bibliographies. And,
right. Let your people take care of that.
Let my people will take care. And so it has been a kind of an all-consuming thing, but it's coming to a close. So now I'm coming back to the world, and maybe we'll get some sleep here.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for what you've accomplished.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. In 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks.
Most of it done in the last week.
Right.
I kind of like
same quality
to push that that edge, to push
Good
that
to
envelope.
get that done.
Exactly. We have some questions that are showing up on Facebook. And if you have a question for me and you want to email it or Facebook it to me, that's wonderful. Remember, the more specific you are, the better quality answer you get.
Right. So not just hey, I'm having a challenge with my relationship. Can you help me?
Right. That's what
I want to be a better lover. Okay, what's so saying specifically what challenge,
right,
and where you want help.
Right, exactly. If you just say to me, like one of the questions in the book is somebody asked me, can you give a person an orgasm without touching them? And I wrote, yes, I can.
Yeah.
There's that.
Done. Next question.
Next question, right. So do be specific. Anyway, the question that we've got here, and I love this one because she said, I love the last show, it was funny. So that means
nice.
We're funny?
I'll have to listen to what we said.
What did we say that was funny? On your next show, would you talk about feeling sexy? Well, of course.
Ooh.
Being in your sexual energy, most undoubtedly, while on your menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
I can talk about that. Which part shall I talk about?
Some friends and I have been meaning to ask this question. We all feel at times our hormones peak and then drop. And reading more here, peak and then drop. And we still want to be close to our lovers. Any tips?
Any tips?
How would you be talking about this? And how are you on your menstrual cycle when you have your period?
When I'm having my man period, I am downright bitchy.
Yeah,
I am. Having a mood. I'm a bit peed, and I need some caressing and some soothing. And usually, have you eaten anything, Josh? Have you had any water to drink and sugar, things like that?
Chocolate.
Check me. So how to stay connected with their lovers when they're on their cycle. I think first starts with, how do you feel about your cycle?
Well, I mean, that's a really big thing, right? I mean, because as a woman, if you are squeamish or weird or freaky about it, then you're going to be squeamish and weird
Our
and
society
freaky.
still feels like the menstrual cycle is a dirty time, is a time to be embarrassed or humiliated, and it's a sacred rite of passage every month that it happens.
Sacred rite of passage.
Sacred rite of passage.
You clearly don't have a period.
Now, I'm there to serve. You know me. I'm there to serve.
Exactly.
And even though it might be really uncomfortable, to give yourself the time to take care of yourself. Okay? Now, as much as it would be a great idea to go someplace like the women's spa, you can't get into the pools when you're on your menses. Okay,
Right.
Understandable. But taking care of self, taking care of each other so that you're not just quietly and not so quietly enduring the pain,
Quietly
enduring the
enduring.
dehydration, enduring the hormone spikes and drops. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, make an effort not to man bash,
What?
and invite your man in to help.
Oh, what does that look like?
That may look like take care of me, hold me, shower me, let me know you still think I'm beautiful even though I'm on my cycle.
Well, orgasm helps with
I have
cramps.
offered that numerous times,
Yeah.
and a few times been taken up on that. And if she's interested in exploring and he is willing to serve, go for it.
Yeah. Well, a true warrior just isn't really worried about that.
Right.
So.
And that being said, as a note, if anybody reads any of the books on our reading list, Sacred Sexuality, I think, is one of our books, and the chapter I flipped forward to was cervix massage, and that there's some beautiful ecstasy to be had with cervix massage. Very gentle, very conscientious, very clean hands.
You
And
could always put on a glove, too.
glove, great idea if you have any question on that,
Yeah.
or fingernail issues.
Right.
However, if that's done while you're on your menses, it could instigate a lot of bleeding, a lot of release of menstrual blood, and it could instigate an acceleration of the cramping process. So,
Well, that's something to consider.
if someone feels blocked up in the process, that could help. If someone's like, we're doing fine as we are, ixnay on that exploration until after.
So then having intercourse where your cervix is getting banged would probably,
It depends on what she's looking for. If she's feeling congested, with blood and needing to have that released, probably some yoni pounding and some cervix
Pounding.
massage. Hey, you said it, not me.
I said bang, not pound.
Oh, bang. If that's what she's wanting.
Gentle tapping, not...
Gentle. Well, okay, so from a different perspective, some gentle lovemaking
Yeah.
that she leads the way. So as a man, I'm not going to get taken away by my passion and arousal. I'm going to follow her lead, and if she's wanting faster, deeper, what have you, I'm there to serve.
There, I like that. He's there to serve. You got to love that, ladies. He's there to serve. Now, one of the specific questions here was what to do with the hormone peaks and drops. Now, I have a theory that's not popular with women.
Uh-oh.
You know me. I'm a little bit controversial anyway, so I'm going to share this.
Please do.
Yeah. So the whole PMS thing, I was actually pretty lucky, like from 35 and under, my periods were like 3 days long. They're no big deal. Forgot I was having them most of the time.
Right.
No moods, no nothing.
Oh,
right?
right.
And I used to go, what a bunch of wussy whiners out there. I know. You see, because when you're like that, you just know you're going to get paid back.
Right.
But yeah, I used to just go, what are these women that cramps and, anyway. Ladies, just so you know that I have been paid back.
I'm refraining from commenting that I can stay away from any gunfire.
I have been paid back after 35 to be right there with you in that moment. But what I have noticed is that the whole PMS thing, I look at the different, there's different types of PMSing. I don't know if you've noticed that, with different women. Like there's the women that are like, man bashing, ready to kill you.
Right.
They're angry.
Right.
Frustrated, right? And then there's the ones in this is my category. I'm like, oh, I love you, man. I just want to cuddle, and I'm having Hallmark moments every day. It's like, and I'm just so, everything's so wonderful. And I think that it's really how a woman feels most of the time. And here's the women, you hear them screaming, I know, I'm sorry, ladies.
Are
but
you saying that some of these people live their lives in a state of negativity?
Well, I'm saying that there's a lot of frustrated and angry women out there.
Okay.
And that's not, see, I don't think women are bitchy. I think women are frustrated and angry, and I think a lot of women's needs are not being met.
Right, and when you get to a pain threshold or a hormone threshold,
right,
the filters and refraining from telling people how you really feel.
Yeah. See, I think that's what happens. And then, so that kind of comes crashing down then. And so, ladies, if you can take a moment and really contemplate what I'm saying,
I'm going to go back to my rite of passage thing then.
Have your period right now and be,
Yeah, I'm going to go back to my rite of passage answer.
Yeah.
Because in any relationship, if couples are not dialoguing, discussing what their fears are, discussing what could be better for them in the relationship,
yes,
every now and then when the house of cards comes crashing down, which usually men will wait until it's intolerable. That could be years. If a woman every month is cleaning house, then that's I think the negativity and the potential destruction and dismissing it of she's PMSing, it loses the value of it's an opportunity to clear the community and to clear the communication.
Well, it might be a time to actually listen to what. So ladies, understand that, I'm not trying to hurt you here. I'm trying to help, and I want you to contemplate how you are and see if that changes. And then, gentlemen, so now you have a woman at home that goes through this. What is going on with her? I mean, maybe that's insight to the fact that she's pretty unhappy most of the time, or angry or frustrated or something, and this is just, coming out. I think we need to contemplate that. But so... Okay, we've got society telling us, periods are wrong.
Right.
Cycle, this is not good. We've got, our cramping and our pain and all that. I do know that so mine had gotten to a point so bad that like my breasts hurt so bad I could barely put a bra on. I felt like I was dying. These like week-long, massacres occurring. It got really bad.
Week-long massacres, did you say?
Yeah, it felt like a week-long. No, I wasn't massacring anybody, but I felt like my body was being massacred.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And just really horrid. And then I went on the raw vegan diet.
Right.
And oh my God, everything was fine. No more breast pain, no more bloating. Periods went back to normal type of thing. Just 4 days, no big deal.
Now, was it that you had let go of the meat-based proteins and milk and dairy products? Or was it that... with a vegan diet, there's also a tendency to cut back on fast food.
Well, raw vegan diet and fast food. Those things really, I don't know.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Do they go together? I don't know. Was it the Coke, one Coke a day I drank, and I didn't do a lot of caffeine other than that. But, I don't know. But I'm here to tell ladies out there that if you are really, really suffering, and I mean, some women have to take medication, they get migraines, they're laid up literally.
You know me, I'm a bit of a moderator. What do you think would happen if someone did, 2 weeks out of the month of, whatever their standard diet is, and then as they knew they were getting within 7 days of their period,
give it a whirl.
They, went for a raw vegan diet.
Well, it didn't happen right away. I mean, it happened the second month.
Okay, so it did take some body transformation.
But that doesn't mean that, I was trashing. I mean, I was not, there was nothing healthy about anything I was doing.
Okay, so prior to that,
we're talking serious crap to raw vegan diet.
Was a seafood diet.
It was it was worse
Whatever
than a
you
seafood.
see, you eat it.
Yeah, no, it was only if it was bad.
Only if it was bad.
Yes, because seafood means I could have eaten some good things.
So, but that helps a lot of people because in our society, in America, where there's fast food, packaged food, microwave food, candy, sugared up, salted, sodium. I'm not going to say salted. Real sea salt is a very healthy thing.
Yeah.
And salt is necessary, but excessive sodium, all these different things cause profound imbalances in our American diet, hence
and
so
our
many
hormones.
different illnesses.
So estrogen levels so part of this is that our estrogen levels have cranked through the roof based on all the plastics, leaching into the waters and the packaging and that type of thing. And that makes the period worse. Too. So, there's a lot of these things going on. And when she's asking this question about your hormone balance up and down, what I noticed being on the raw vegan diet was that I was hormonally way more stable.
Right.
So I didn't have that big PMS thing. I didn't have any energy crashes and that type of thing. My period wasn't so exhausting because it used to be like the day before I was exhausted. I mean, I could literally just lay down and sleep the whole day. And you know me, I don't sleep. So that's like exhausted.
No.
So, that's something to consider as far as, and then how how you stay in sync. Now, okay, so we can segue out of that. One thing is, yes, you could clean up your diet. That's probably going to help. Two, you could clean up how you think about your cycle.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe how your partner thinks about your cycle. And looking at it as, that is part of the wonder of being able to create the universe in our bodies as women.
Right.
So we could celebrate that a little bit more. And then there's the, what do you do when you're having your period? You know, I mean, that's always one of those things where, people are, I remember my dad, this is really funny because my dad was like 50.
Right.
And he said something to me one day about, I got to ask you a question. I'm like, okay. And he says, is it okay to have sex when the woman's having her period? My dad's 50 and he's asking me this question.
And how old were you?
I don't know. I was probably in my 20s.
Okay.
And I said, well, yes, that's a good thing. It can be really helpful too. And he said, okay. So apparently he and my mother just had not done that.
Right.
Or something until that point.
And I'm curious, did she say no, or was he just never going there?
They really just didn't. No, I would have, I'd have talked. I love it when people say, well, I would never talk to my parents like that. I would talk to them.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't. That was the most information I got.
Okay.
But I remember the first experience.
Right.
Here I am, I'm having my period, and I'm with my partner and, I'm in my early 20s or late teens, right? And I don't know what to say. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going there.
Yeah. Oh,
there goes his head.
He's heading south.
Right. And I'm like, wait,
now, I think
this is so hilarious. I understand people are just going to be shocked that I'm going to say this on the radio, but
go for it.
I know I'm going to shock everybody. But he I'm like up, and the next thing I know, he's got the tampon string in his teeth, and he pulls it out and whips it back
over his shoulder. That is a man.
I'm kind of like, what did you just do?
Yeah,
that was pretty.
That would not fall under the category of safe sex practices.
No, that
but
was
at the
before
same time,
we had all
hilarious.
that.
And
yeah, that was exactly. Well, if you were fluid bonded to your partner, then I guess that'd be okay. But
fine.
He was we could just call him a warrior.
We could call him,
and we call him a lot of things. But that was epic.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, that was
enthusiasm.
So if you're on the radio out there, thank you so much for that, because that kind of gave me this impression that it was all okay.
Right.
So then of course
you were still a woman and you were still appreciated and adored.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just bring a towel to bed or something like that, or a couple of them or whatever. So,
I mean,
depending.
Some Visqueen and put down on the bed.
Visqueen.
Some plastic.
No, because then that
building
gets because that gets everywhere then.
No, building plastic with a towel on top of it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we're
talking. Or in hospitals they have those blue chucks, which are waterproof one side, absorbent on the other.
You know what? I didn't think about those.
There you go.
That is a good idea.
See, I've got more value than just surface.
Just surface. That's probably good for women that ejaculate as well, that are always having the big wet spot.
If you've got that happening only occasionally, that's kind of like the badge of honor. But if if it's happening regularly, then at some point you want to go ahead and contain that. Yeah,
I would think. Well, so there we have all sorts of information here today.
And it gives a whole nother level of what to look for when you're buying a mattress. That stain. No, we're going to keep looking.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, used mattresses. You're talking about.
Yeah. Craigslist and all that fun stuff.
That's always scary to me. And, okay, so how do you stay? So first of all, how do you stay connected? Well, the thing is, a lot of people wait to be in the mood to connect and make love. And this is dangerous.
That's back to our Tantra basics, how to stay connected in a relationship overall. So, go for it.
Right. Well, I mean, if we're waiting for the mood, in society today, we don't get a lot of opportunity to be in the mood of much, right? We've got traffic and bosses and finances and kids and whatever else. The mood is rare. If 40 million sexless couples is any indication,
right.
The mood is rare. I say, you don't really wait for the mood. You create the mood.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't always mean that you're going to have really passionate, amazing lovemaking when you create the mood. Sometimes it's sweet. Sometimes it's tender. Sometimes it's just that connection. And to be in that moment with your partner and to know that you're loving each other.
Right.
Even if it's for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. And I have had some of the best sex ever when I thought I was so not in the mood.
Right.
That's kind of a weird thing, but, I remember this one instance where I was just like, I am, it's rare for me to not be in the mood, but I was like really just like, just
no,
so,
thank you.
like, what? Like, what? And, I was astounded. I was astounded. So I say you just, how to keep the mood is to just create the mood. Be, just walk into the space.
So be affectionate with each other through the day, all that stuff.
Of course, yeah.
But then create the mood as in honey, I want you.
Yeah, and let's go touch, and let's cuddle, and let's do this, and just
say,
kind
yes, I'm on my period, but I want to be in touch with you. I want to connect.
Right, or maybe it's before, because for some women, they're cycling, right? So most women, ovulation, most women are definitely wanting sex. I mean, we're kind of built that way. So, the women will really just be like, there's like 4 or 5 days maybe out of the month where women are like, yeah, sex is good.
Right.
I hate him, but sex is good. Sex is good. And then the rest of the time, not so much.
Okay.
Maybe. For some women, it's their periods that get them going.
Okay.
Everybody's different. So what you do is just you don't wait for those moods to strike. Those are the sugar. That's the icing on the cake when you're in those hormonal highs. But the rest of the time, it's still heart connection, and it's still about being in that space and making love. So you just have to do it.
Right.
Kind of like Nike said.
Nike said, just do it.
Just do it. They have that challenge. A couple that's having issues in their sex life, if they were to just decide they were going to make love every day for a month, would change a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Well, they'd be making love every day for a month.
And committing to making love, not just having sex.
Right. Well,
that they're, they're committing to, okay, we're going to get it on every day, and eventually something's going to shift. They have the opportunity to be touching each other, caressing each other.
Well, it doesn't always have to lead to getting off. See, here's the
okay, so hang on a sec. Hold the phone.
There we are.
To build and maintain connection while on her menstrual cycle, wow, that we're back to Tantra.
Oh, yeah, all paths lead to Tantra.
All paths lead to Tantra, that there is no agenda about getting off.
Well, I think that's part of what this question is. When I read this question, like I said, it's not that specific, but, feeling sexy, being in your sexual energy while on your menstrual cycle. Okay, well, some women are definitely there while they are. And then other women, what you could read into this is, how do I climax when I'm not really into it?
Oh, okay. Well, that's another, two different ends of the spectrum.
Right.
I mean, to be sexy, to be connected, be in an understanding in a relationship that every time you let him touch you, he doesn't expect that he's going to have an orgasm.
Or that you are, or that he has to give you one.
Yeah.
Or that you have to perform for one.
I mean, because I've just in passing in the house, I've been in relationships where if I gave a hug and a snuggle and a kiss, she thought it meant I automatically wanted to have sex right then and there, or for sure that night. So her ability to receive my affection was constrained because she thought I always wanted to have sex, which, okay.
And and it's true though, right? I mean, so yeah, I'm much that way. I'm with my partner. I'm always grabby, kissy, huggy, seductive, all of that. And it doesn't mean, okay, there's pressure.
Right. It's just affection.
Right.
And for men out
interest.
there,
it's okay to show interest.
For men out there to just allow the moment to be the moment and not expect that she's going to take care of you, or you're going to get it on right then and there, or that the game is on that night. But that it's just affection. And if it escalates, then it is what it is at the moment. Right.
I think a lot of people are scared out there of that, though. And that comes back to that whole being in the mood. So if a woman is not in the mood, all right, let's say, okay, she's completely not in the mood, she pretty well understands that she's probably not going to have an orgasm. So she goes into the situation thinking, at the best of times, maybe it's harder to do now. It's completely impossible. So I'm going to be there, and let's say she's with a nice man, and he's like, okay, so he's going to do what he does so that, he can have his. And so, she's laying there thinking this is just not going to happen. He's going to town, doing whatever he needs to do, wondering if this is going to happen, and people get shut down.
Right.
They just start to kind of close in instead of like, she could say to him, really, I'm not feeling that frisky tonight, but I'd love to connect with you and be with you. And if you're into that, that's great. Why don't, have a party?
Right.
Type of thing. It's okay to do that. I mean, women are shocked sometimes. What? So if I didn't get off, it's still okay for him to have sex with me? Well,
I think that's a key discussion to begin with for anyone's intimacy, is to have a discussion outside of the bedroom that allows a man to know that their woman doesn't need or want to get off every single time, that it actually creates more pressure and diminishes the value of the other times they are intimate with them. for a man to know it's not your ego, it's not your performance, it's not your value. I just don't want to get off all the time, and I can really enjoy this like a good massage. Very focused, very focused.
A very focused massage. Or just the thought of giving to somebody that you care about.
And saying to him, I want you to go ahead and enjoy my body and not have to worry about me.
Don't mind me while I'm watching TV.
No.
That's not so good. Or reading a book behind his back? No, that's tacky.
No.
That's tacky. We're not.
Enjoy the moment for whatever it is. And by removing the pressure that she feels, she'll actually be able to experience whatever joy can be experienced in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, but you have to be pretty filled up as a woman to not feel used by that. Or I'm pointing my finger now at him, so he was like, what? Yes. Or the man is practicing ejaculation mastery.
Since I've begun to practice ejaculation mastery, I've had an interesting change of experiences where when I'm with my partner, intimately or not, there's that, it went from, oh, guys always want it, to looking at me with that look like, what are you looking at me that way for? I'll tell you tonight. I'm like, what? So I'm finding myself in demand, if you might say.
In demand?
In demand.
Oh, my gosh. That must be fun for you to say.
Oh, my God.
Say that again, Joshua.
I find myself in demand.
Gentlemen, how would you like to find yourself in demand?
If you could look at your woman and know that you are in demand, the old notion of guys always want it and pursue it and women are always trying to preserve it and fend them off, to she's always looking at you wondering and wanting you.
What is she wondering and wanting? What is she wondering? You?
Me.
You should see the look on his face. Pretty priceless.
So, to learn about ejaculation mastery and to take my own urgency out of the experience, if nothing else, creates an interesting attraction that she wants me and wants to please me and wants to help me be at my edge. And almost to a degree that, my goal, now, I don't know if it's been talked openly at Team Tantra, but in our men's meeting, we discussed our interest, almost a pact, if you will, to go on an ejaculation mastery project.
Excellent.
That we would take about a month and a half.
Nice.
Month to a month and a half. And I have to confess, since I've made that decree and say, yes, that's awesome, I've done that before. But to really work the edges of our arousal, I have had even more difficult time maintaining my ejaculation mastery since making that decree.
Now that's funny. So you guys make the decree together and then everybody doesn't do it?
I've got to talk to the guys because I'm failing. I'm failing on that front, and I'm having so much more arousal in the experience. I'm experiencing much more in the rest of my body. I'm experiencing slow lovemaking so that I can be in my arousal, and my partner is experiencing higher arousal. And the value, the depth of the experience is growing for me, and it's making it more difficult to not get to that.
The higher her arousal,
the higher my arousal.
Yeah,
and so it's becoming
that's tough.
Very joyous and very difficult.
Right. Well, that's why ejaculation mastery starts as a solo practice.
Okay.
I know. Okay. I'm so sorry.
But I get pretty hot with myself too.
Oh, my goodness, Joshua.
Oh, sorry. Am I throwing that right out there on the radio?
So,
are you blushing?
I don't know. Am I blushing?
I don't know. Anyway, what were we talking about?
You, apparently. You and yourself.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, my goodness. So I think with that, I don't know. I think if Gary's listening to me, I think I need to go for a break or something.
Okay.
So we're going to...
Sorry, I've pushed the hot buttons a little bit.
We're going to hop off. No, I didn't
we're
say
not
that.
Getting off. We're not hopping off. We're not hopping on. We're taking a break.
We'll be back in a minute.
This is James Redfield, and you're listening to Contact Talk Radio.
Are you one of the 40 million sexless couples in the U.S.? Are you wondering why having sex leaves you feeling lonely? Are you suffering from the myths of sexual dysfunction? Do you know in your heart that there has to be more than what you're currently getting out of making love? To rid yourself of sexual ignorance, get more out of your lovemaking, and find out more about spiritual sexual connection, then you need to check out www.thetantrateacher.com to receive your free copy of the ebook called Secrets of the Tantra Teacher. Don't suffer another minute without the sexual loving and ecstatic bliss you were born to receive. Get to www.thetantrateacher.com right now. That's www.thetantrateacher.com.
Did you know that you can rate this show on iTunes? The show you're listening to right now. It's true. You can leave your thoughts about the show, the topic, the guest. You can even leave a suggestion. Then, before you leave, rate the show. The hosts love hearing from you, so next time you download this show from iTunes, leave your thoughts and rate the show, for the host and for others.
Is your sex life non-existent? Do sexual dysfunctions leave you soft? Is internet porn getting more than you are? Or are you paying more attention to porn than your partner? Have you tried talk therapy and it got you nowhere? You are not alone. You can be freed from sexual shame, guilt, and dissatisfaction. A visit to the Tantra Teacher is in order. Call now and mention you heard the Tantra Teacher on the radio and get a very special offer. Stop waiting for a miracle and call right now. 206-276-2735. Phone consultations or in person will get you the information you need to be successful in your love life. But you have to call now. 206-276-2735. Stop making excuses. Call the Tantra Teacher. 206-276-2735.
Contact talkradio.com, your connection to empowering information.
Now is your chance to be part of the show. Call 877-230-3062. Call in with your questions or thoughts and talk with the host and their guest. Again, that number is 877-230-3062.
Back. We've got ourselves under control now.
I've brought myself back in the rain.
Yeah, well, okay, that happens sometimes. And we have a caller. We have Max on the line. Hello, Max.
Hey, Max.
Hello.
What's going on?
Well, wow, this is kind of a surreal experience.
You're on the air. You're on the phone.
You can't listen to yourself if you're on the air, by the way.
Oh, really?
So don't listen to yourself. Yeah, there's like a weird delay, and it's like woo doo 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 doo. Just so like turn that off and just
probably induces trance, but you should
just talk to us.
Oh, my surreal experience right now is realizing that it's been a long time since I've been in this kind of cyberspace.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, somehow being on the radio with you in this way makes it feel like cyber sex.
Oh,
and
no. Uh-oh.
I know.
Cyber sex phone calls?
It's just one of those calls.
One of those things, this takes me back to the 80s when, cyberspace was the telephone. It was not the Internet. It was not many of the facilities that we have today to check out. So got one listening and paying attention very closely to the cues in the voice.
That's true. So what do you have for us?
Oh, I have. Well, that's a loaded question.
More specific, did you have a question today?
Very, very well. Thank you.
You know me, I could go anywhere with most questions. So.
Nice. So, yes, I do have a question. There's many theories and thoughts I've heard about, being romantic with the partner during her menses, during her menstrual cycle. And I heard a little bit about this today. I've heard several things, and I was just wondering, hear a little bit more expansively about that, because I've heard that women are, quote unquote, more powerful during their cycle, and I wondered if this is a good time or a really especially important time to practice ejaculation mastery. for the reason that, well, maybe she's more open, vulnerable, sensitive, or maybe she's going to overpower the man and take this power from him, or something like that. There's all this mystery and voodoo around the blood.
Yes.
So some of the ancient aspects of Tantra, the classical knowledge and wisdom around that time.
Yes, and women power. I have a story of a gentleman coming out from doing a ritual with his partner while she was on her cycle, and he'd actually war painted himself.
Wow.
Yeah, he came out. It was pretty rocking. He was definitely a Mr. Serious Warrior.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I would say that most of the women were just like, quite taken. A few of the men, I think one guy threw up, but otherwise,
separate the men from the boys.
I think that's true. But yeah, they had a very, very powerful ritual that night, and he came out in full regalia and full war paint, and so it was pretty cool. Yeah, well, there is there is something to that, I think, and that's part of why a lot of women were sequestered and, almost exiled when they were having their period. I certainly know that I can feel much more powerful and much more intuitive and a lot of things in that space. As far as practicing ejaculation mastery, particularly then, unless she's into some of the, white tigress and some of these things where she's actually, vampiring his energy.
Right.
I think you're probably pretty safe.
I see. Okay.
But, if she practices some of the ancient rituals of youthening herself by taking the man's seed and his life energy.
Okay.
And that's out there.
A little Black Widow action going on there.
Well, not so. Yeah, well, yeah.
Ish.
Ish. Black Widow-ish. And since it is believed that men only have limited amounts of sperm in their bodies, that's life force, limited amounts of life force, then, there's a good reason to be practicing this art form.
And something that comes to mind, Max, I love the question, because for practicing Tantra and rising and arriving to higher states of consciousness, if the menses is a much more powerful time, physically, emotionally, spiritually, for our women, to continue with our ejaculation mastery in that intensity. It's like, we've been working on it and arriving at higher states within our own control and practice, to then continue to do that at that highly powerful state, I think would be the challenge of, how successful I am in my practices, but also then arriving together at new, higher places.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Max?
Wow, that sounds pretty intense there.
Yeah.
Going from here to a higher place definitely sounds intense. Yeah, wow.
So that could be dangerous, and it could be a good thing.
Well, and what's some of your experience around this? Because, you're, as I recall, you were the, didn't you get called a sex god?
Really?
Well, I believe it was termed a sexual god.
A sexual god on the radio. Yeah.
I took that to mean, well, am I a god and am I sexual? Well, yes.
Okay. I see. Now you're wiggling out of that one. I see.
Well, we wiggle and we wriggle, and
and we're men. We've got something that we can do that with.
That's part of the fun. That's what I was going to say. I'm being a little cheeky and a little lighthearted with that. I think that I think it is relative. It just depends. Again, the dynamics in a relationship provide some very interesting perspective. What is true in one situation with as in what I have personally found, is that, it can be, it can appear one way in one dynamic, in one relationship, and then in another in which there's more arousal, more passion, more intensity running. Just as there's different, times of intensity throughout, a woman's arousal during the menses, throughout the entire cycle. I think this is true in between relationships. Now, most people don't get the option to sample amongst, several different stages or classes of relationships. So we're just, talking about, say, one or perhaps simply a few different experiences here, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. How many are you talking about? Well, you don't answer that question, but you have you have quite a few to gauge from.
Right.
Well, I don't mean throughout the life. I mean throughout one section of current life. This is what I'm talking about. So, and well, anyway, make a long story
Max
short.
is so modest. He's just a modest man.
Yeah.
He knows some stuff. Come on, share your stuff with us.
I got stuff. All right, I'll share it. So, well, I think it's interesting. I mean, I'll certainly say that I've been challenged to the limits of my capacity to retain my seed. In the intensity, in the lovemaking that I've experienced, and this is certainly recent. So it's like, wow, here's a new level. Here's a new reason to go back to ejaculation mastery school right now. So I'm calling in. I'm looking for a little guidance on this. I haven't had a lot of specific questions, but just hearing about this and hearing the affirmations of, wait a minute. So you're saying, for example, this is about bringing a full state of arousal through the body, having full body orgasms, feeling all that pleasure, and yet holding back the seed in some fashion, and that there's a way to do this. This is what I'm hearing throughout several radio shows.
Well, there is. It's a theme that comes up a lot, because really for men and women to practice the art of Tantra and take it somewhere else, men have to be pretty proficient at this. And pretty proficient means, most men are kind of doing it like they're either thinking about something else as they're going on, or they're stopping and taking a break and coming back to it. And those are just baby steps. Those are the beginning steps.
Baseball, construction project.
Right, grandmother. Don't think about those things. Anyway.
Oh, you said that. Don't go there.
Wow.
But the thing to remember is that that's just the baby steps. That's still having to stop, start, and that type of thing. Think about something else. You want to stay completely connected. You want to stay at a 9.8 for like 20 or 30 minutes without stopping.
Right.
I mean, and then having those full body orgasms.
Without stopping, so maintaining slow, fast.
It doesn't matter, whatever speed you want
but continuing to move.
Right, exactly. And to be able to just move that breath and energy and to stay in whatever rhythm you're in and just blast that through your body and keep going. That's proficiency.
I'm kind of like a moth. I get too close to the fire, and I go right in and fry.
Well, that's I can certainly relate to that. Let me say that I can relate to many, many, many things. However,
so that can be more intense during the menstrual cycle with most women. Depending on how they feel about it. Like I said, if they feel squeamish, they don't feel good about it, they're going to suck all their energy back. But a woman that feels good about herself, that feels powerful in that space, that's an even more intense experience. So then go ahead.
Well, okay. I've drawn in a breath 3 times to say something already, and here we go. So 4 more breaths like that, I'll be at a 9.8. Let me tell you. And then I still won't say anything. So
I mean, at this point, should I say, "What are you wearing right now?"
Right. Yeah. No, it's just a good thing I'm pacing. So, pacing myself. That was a joke. All right.
Right.
So, well, I was in my experience, one of the most profound and interesting things that more or less came and whacked me upside the head was, wait a minute. So here I am. This is live. I am fully engaged, making love, 9.5, 9.8. I mean, we are right on the brink. There's all this motion happening. It's like, wow, there's no holding back. We were talking Kentucky Derby, horses are on the track.
I was trying not to say ride 'em cowboy, but
right. And, in this moment of utter connection, connecting the eyes, seeing and feeling her arousal, feeling that cycle of energy come through the breath, and it is cycling through the body. And it's almost like I'm not even there anymore. I'm just witnessing something extremely, extremely profound. And then it's like, wait a minute. Suddenly I have experienced, I'll call it a nothingness, in which I'm not moving anymore. It's not about that, I've decided that this is the rhythm and I know exactly what pleases me, or I think it's, that this is what she wants. Suddenly, and I'll use the word surrender, suddenly I have surrendered to this something else, something other that has occurred in relationship right there in that moment, in that state of arousal. And the feelings and the intensity of connection just about put me over the edge, and and in that time something else happened. It's like, all of a sudden a syncopation, like a band or something, that all of a sudden they click right in. I think a lot of people out there listening can really relate to this in many different facets of their life. But the picture I'm painting on an emotional level, on an action-oriented principle, is suddenly it occurs, and you've got to be right there. And being right there means that you've got to be willing to let go of this primal urge to just keep going in the exact same way. It doesn't mean maybe that you necessarily stop or take a breath or do something like clench all the BC muscles or PC muscles and all that stuff. What it means is now you've surrendered to a different flow. And the beauty of it is that flow may be faster, it may be slower, it may be wilder, it may be nearly brutal, it may be so soft and gentle that there's almost no movement at all. But it occurs, and it occurs in that moment, and it occurs exclusively and explicitly between you and your partner. And that's what I have felt, and that's like, wow, if I can get there, if I can use ejaculation mastery to simply to experience that moment in its full potential, instead of, I'm holding back so I can climb the step of orgasm, joy, or whatever it is. I mean, that is what it's about. It's about the connection, and it's that very connection itself, I find, that provides the experience. And when I say the experience, I hope other people out there know what I'm talking about.
I don't, I would say that probably most don't. And I'll say most don't because what you're talking about is practicing some of the more advanced concepts of tantric union versus just sex, that whole art form of surrendering in that space. And most people don't go there. Most people are still very goal-oriented, caught in their doing space, and not just in that profound moment. And, of course, that's what we are teaching. That's what we are teaching, and that's
why.
Yeah, and that's why. And because we want people to experience that profound connection with each other. And, to do it, though, you've got to have the breath work. You've got to have the beginning stages of ejaculation mastery at least. You have to have the foundation to start moving to that. But that's, we're talking about the baby steps into tantric union, sexual union, where when I write about it in my book, it's about this experience of losing self and, touching the hands of God, if you believe in God, or, experiencing divinity at its utmost, where the experience goes on timeless. You lose all track of time for hours, and you leave profoundly changed. And it sounds like you had a little bit of a change there.
Myself.
Yeah.
Well, yes, even in this moment. I'm not sure what it is. Like I said, it's a bit surreal.
Yeah, and to come back to the original question of the power of a woman's menses, if that's a more powerful time for deeper connection, for energetic spiritual power, or a time requiring more affection, practicing ejaculation mastery during that time and surrendering to the experience, I think that's a great illustration of what people can achieve with Tantra, and more so, practicing Tantra, practicing affection and adoration during a woman's menses can just be that much more.
Yeah, if we could get all women out there to start feeling better about their cycle and their experience, probably we'd put some of the drug companies, would be losing money. Because I do believe that a lot of the time because I know that, part of it was feeling horrid about myself as well. Mm-hmm. Having those experiences, being in an awful relationship and just, was not helping.
Right.
So I think that there's some connection there. Max, you have, from what I've heard, since you called, I'm going to ask you about this real quick. We don't have a whole lot of time, but okay. You actually have the ability to tell when women are cycling. How do you do that?
How do you do that, Matt?
Wow. Well, okay, the topic's been brought up. Well, now I'm back to, a slight bit of shyness and nervousness again, and that's okay. Well, okay, so
I'll help you out of here, Liz. It's just your profound observation.
Profound skills of observation.
Yes, observation and paying attention to various smells, various tastes, and just.
He's not walking around tasting all women, I don't think.
No, not all women, but
one at a time.
just one at a time. Serving, okay.
Form a line, please.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
No. So certainly with the partner, I find it significant to actually pay attention to what's going on, and there's a certain amount that can be learned simply through observing. Without any attempt to categorize it, it just becomes obvious. It's like, okay, so here's some here's some different textures, some different smells, some different tastes throughout the cycle, and it becomes obvious. And there's towards the menses, there's several days in advance, there's a chemical change in the taste, which does include more of a, say, like a metallic, I often find.
So this man is clued in.
Yeah. I think we've got an at-home chemist going on here. Just your observation, your knowledge of, taste, texture, your ability to observe and categorize, and it's great. I'm honoring.
I knew a man that never ever had to use birth control because he was that good at knowing where a woman was in her cycle because of all that. I mean, he was so right on. He spent 25 years never using birth control, not getting anybody pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get that astute. I don't know if most men do this or not, but I think I know that when I've talked to women about men that can do this, women think that is so hot. But a man is that tuned in, is really smoking. We've got about 4 minutes here.
And I'm curious, and this may be next week or an off-air question, but how, what's the timing? What are the right? I guess really knowing the rhythm method, you can know technically the formula of the days that you should and should not.
Yeah, but women fool that all the time. That's why they call people to use the rhythm method parents.
Right. No, but you're saying if the man can tell.
That's right.
Does that mean he abstains, or that means he practices his ejaculation mastery?
I don't know.
More carefully?
We'll talk about that next time, because most men ejaculation mastery does not mean that they're completely free, that nothing's leaking at all.
Right.
So you got to be there. Are men that can be that good.
So you're saying, was this guy able to keep himself completely free from?
No, he just
leakage?
abstained, I think.
Oh, he abstained on the off days.
Yeah, I believe so. Max, thank you very much for giving us a call and putting yourself on the line like that, and other men to aspire to. Now, are men going to go home now and go, wow, I wonder if they're going to keep track of this or something?
Right.
Several lucky ladies I see in the future today.
Right. And remember, men, start just by being affectionate.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Don't start doing a chemistry project down there and you've got the test tubes out and everything.
Right.
And the
We've got a higher level of iron.
Litmus paper and the black light.
pH is a little bit elevated.
Yeah, that's. I think she'd get a little intimidated by that, unless she's a scientist herself, in which case she'll enjoy that. But it might be nice to just check in as a man and kind of see, and observational skills on how she's acting and that type of thing too. Well, thanks again, Max, and call back soon.
All right, we'll do.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, these are interesting topics that we get to talk about, aren't they?
I love it.
Yeah. My voice is doing something freaky.
It is.
I don't know what's up. Maybe all that talk about ejaculation mastery or something.
Got you a little worked up.
So, okay, everybody, we've got stuff. We've got radio shows. We've got a book. We've got, and who's going to want autographed copies? I'm having so much excitement about that.
Ooh, that's a
couple of big workshops coming down the line. And
big workshops?
Big shop work. Sexual intimacy weekend in Canada in October.
Couples intimacy
sacred
workshop.
Sexual intimacy workshop.
Sacred sexual intimacy
Only
workshop.
6 couples get to go.
Only 6 couples get to go.
And they get personal attention from me. It is an amazing event.
Is this a first come first serve? Is there a lottery being picked? How many people are calling in for this?
It's going to go quick. So
6 couples.
Get onto my learningtantra.com website and look under workshops, and it's the Couples Sacred Intimacy Workshop in Sunshine Coast in a yurt, beautiful yurt on a beach, beautiful resort. Lovely. Got to get there. Sign up now because it's going fast. Joshua, great to see you again.
Great to see you.
As always. We love you, Gary. Thank you so much. And we will be talking to you, of course, next week about Tantra, love, sex, and intimacy. And maybe the Dalai Lama will have endorsed my book.
Nice.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you then. Bye.
Take care.
You have been listening to the Tantra, Love, Sex, and Intimacy Show with your host, Tanya Diamond. Visit our website at www.tanyadiamond.com. That's TANJA for more information on workshops and classes.